What's up guys, and welcome back to a Destiny 2 video that I'm gonna talk about guard rolls. So when you hear guard rolls, the first thing you think of is, well, a really good rolled weapon. Here's the thing with guard rolls. Every time someone says this is a guard roll, or this weapon's guard roll, or this season's guard roll weapons, or top 5 guard rolls, whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that they are really good. Guard roll just means the best rolled set of perk combination that a weapon can have. That's what it means. It doesn't mean if you have these, you have one of the strongest gun in the games. Not at all. It just means the strongest possible rolls for that type of weapon. Now take for example a couple of seasons back to Season of Dawn, when Patron of Lost Causes, the scout rifle for example, the heavy linear fusion rifle lying in the sand. You also had Martyrs of Retribution, you had Breach Light, all of these from Season of Dawn. Sure, you can still get some of them, like you can get Breach Light from the recaster right now, but these weapons were all kind of hyped back then. They were all talking about it, how Breach Light was really powerful, how unique and really good Martyrs Retribution was, how Line in the Sand was a really good fusion rifle, mainly because you can get it with Firing Line, which increased precision damage when near 2 or more allies. How really good all of those were. But literally moving on to the next season, they became irrelevant. I very rarely saw anyone using these weapons. They died off really damn quickly. You can even see, yes, I did power this one up because I was using it in a bit in Menagerie, and it was still pretty good. But you can see, for example, Gallant Charge, which is a fusion rifle as well. It's a 10-7. That's basically where I stopped using it. Yeah, it's kind of down right away afterwards. And the reasoning, I honestly don't know. I guess they weren't as good as the hype was around them during that season. There wasn't really any seasonal mods that were linked to these weapons making them better, like how it was in Season of Worthless, where basically all these 7 Seraph weapons were just good because he could create these Warmind cells, which by the way Icola's weapons can do now, by the way, so there's no reason to actually have a 7 Seraph weapon at all. Because the bad thing with these 7 Seraph weapons is that they are incredibly weak, and they are weak mainly because, well, it creates a 7 or a Warmind cell, which is actually damn powerful. It creates a pretty big blast radius, a pretty big blast. It can kill a lot of ads in just that explosion, and it made it really powerful. But the weapon themselves, there were nothing really to go on at all. I had an entire build back then on my Warlock where I just had like 7 or like all these Warmind cell, all these new mods for it. I had the armor set, I had every slot for use those weapons. I had R rifle, I used the sidearm sometimes, I used submachine gun, I used everything that could possibly spawn these, and it was semi-fun in a way because those Warmind cells are pretty powerful. But if not for those weapons were pretty damn weak. For example, would you use these 7 Seraph weapons without the mod? Because I don't think you would. And the only one I can see myself maybe using without them is obviously the shotgun, because it's a shotgun, it's going to be powerful pretty much no matter what. But also, kind of surprisingly, the sidearm is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty good. And it acts like every other sidearms in terms of damage and all of that. So it doesn't really feel like it's dependent on the Warmind cells to actually perform well. That's kind of what I liked about it. Back to the whole guard roll thing. Don't just think that because a weapon is, or someone is saying this is the guard roll for this weapon, it means that it's really good. Don't just be chasing those weapons. Mostly seasonal weapons, they don't turn out to last that very long. As I said, with the Season of Dawn weapons, no one's really using them. But As soon as that season ended, boom, pretty much no one used those weapons. As soon as season of Worthless ended, I mean, even during it, not that many people were using the weapons from the actual event or that season, the Seraph weapons. Now we're kind of in the same boat, I guess, with the recaster weapons, if you will. You know, the cold denial, the false promises that you've heard about, other things like that. I guess Temptation's hook. I heard a lot about it, but I don't really see anyone using it. It died off pretty quickly because it got overshadowed by Falling Guillotine pretty damn quickly. I used it a little bit. It was okay. It wasn't anything special. It is basically a legendary version of Black Talon, but obviously it's weaker. Otherwise, hello. But I mean, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't use any of these seasonal weapons or try any god rolls. Try any weapons with any types of perk combinations and see what you like. Don't just go for what everyone else says, because it might not be what you want. It might not fit your playstyle. Obviously, most of the time when it's a guard roll, it's going to be something with a reload speed and or damage increase. You know, the cliche Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip, or Rampage to an Outlaw, or Feeding Frenzy with that type of thing. For example, the Ikelos, I believe it was. Yes, the Ikelos submachine gun. Many people are trying to go for a certain role with have. I don't remember exactly, but you can see what I have. I expect everything to be for stability. It really needs stability. Use this weapon, I tried it, I saw that it was bouncing all over the place. I noticed that it really needed stability. I was kind of lucky to actually got this roll, which I consider to be a really good roll. I got full bore for that extra range. Yes, it does remove stability and handling, but you get a lot of range. You got the accurized round, which give more range, but then you have dynamic sway reduction, improved accuracy and stability whilst continuously holding down the trigger, paired with tap the trigger, which grants a short period of increased stability and accuracy on the initial trigger pull, and obviously the stability masterwork. So this one is pretty damn stable, and it does kill quite easily. Actually, it's actually really good. I could swap out the tap the trigger with Surrounded, which gain bonuses when 3 or more enemies are in close proximity, which could happen quite often with a submachine gun. I have to test that out a little bit more to see if the extra stability from tap to trigger is really necessary or not. But my biggest tip to anyone who's trying to go for a good roll is test out the weapon. See what it needs. You can go to Gunsmith, or you can go right here to Dim, where you can see all the stats. So if we go to, alright, so here we are, Gunsmith. So you go here, you see what it needs or what it has in base stats. So it's actually better to go here than to Dim, mainly because you will see the default stats. This is what it has default without anything extra. You can go here, you can look at it, and you can see, okay, range 54, which isn't bad. Stability 39, it is pretty low. Handling is really high, so you don't need any handling. Reload speed is really low, so anything to have with the reload could be nice, but you have mods for that, which aren't going away. They're not seasonal, which is like light weapon reload or something like that, which usually have like submachine guns, sidearm, hand cannons and stuff like that. So yeah, you could still go with it if you want, but so we'll look here and you can see already no real damage increasing perks apart from, I think, Substance. No, it's not. The other one you have is Surrounded and I guess Warple. Disruption could substitute as a damage increase perk, but it's not really for this weapon since it is not a kinetic. But you go here, you take a look at it, you test it out in game first, you see what it needs. Even if you have a pretty crappy roll, or you have a roll that has a lot of stability or a lot of range or a lot of reload speed or whatevs, you go here, you look at these, you can even press on it and you can see the effect right there. Really handy, really good, so you can easily tell what you need. Polygonal rifling would be good for stability, but usually full bore will do for the range. You get the accurized, you got the dynamic, you got the tap trigger, you got stability. Boom, that's what I have. I've already showed you, but you can see the effect here. This is how much stability or range from accurized and full bore. That's the from stability. This is how much for stability, and I'll lose a little bit of handling. That's how much I'm losing from the handling. Is just that is nothing, right? So if we want to remove these, we just press on them again. You could try, for example, small bore. Both stability and range, not bad at all. Maybe you would like Seraph rounds, why not? Rounds over penetrate targets and bounce off hard surfaces, which could be good in theory, I guess. You could shoot multiple enemies at once. Maybe you want threat detector, increase reload, stability and handling when enemies are in close proximity, which could work really well with surrounded, which gives you a bonus damage when 3 or enemies or more, or 3 or more enemies are in close proximity. So these kind of synergizes it really well. Or you could go with Grave Robber, since there is no increasing reload speed apart from this, but then you have to be close to the enemies. Sure, this one you have to be 2, but it's not dependent on how many, and it's also really nice when you're in a pickle. There is so many enemies coming at you, maybe, or you just run out of enemies, or run out of bullets, not enemies, run out of bullets, and there's an enemy in front of you that's pretty low. You melee him, you get all of your ammo back just like that. You don't have to reload or anything, it just gives it back straight into the magazine, and boom, you're ready to shoot again. You don't have to reload, which this one kind of forces you to do, but you do it faster. So that's really good. You could have that still with Surrounded or Demolitionist for even more of that reload, like constant reload. You kill, you get a grenade back, you throw the grenade, you get like all your ammo back, like it reloads it for you. If you kill more enemies, if you don't have a grenade up, you just melee them and you get it back. You know, rinse and repeat. You basically don't have to reload. Really good combo. This could be something to actually test out. Maybe you still want full bore for that extra range. Maybe you want to use Hammerforge for that range as well. Corkscrew rifling for all the bouncing. Anything here, you got it. So what I'm trying to say is just test them out first. Come here, see what all the stats would give you if you got all these combinations, and try to get it. Or you could go here first, see what you can come with, and try to go for that. Try for yourself instead of just looking up videos and like, what's the guard roll? Because most of the time it's not going to be the best for you. As I said, it all depends on your play style. It depends on what you actually need and other things like that. So that's kind of what I'll say. Just test them first. Go here, see what you can get, or go here, see what you can get first. Whichever, doesn't matter. But I would highly suggest testing out the weapons first and really see what it needs. Like if it's bouncing all over the place, you need stability. If it takes forever to reload, reload speed. If it's weak, obviously some damaging perks. Anything like that, just test it out. Just go here, see what you can get, and try for that roll. I know it's a bit late now with Icarus, but you know, for any future weapons you might go for or anything like that. I don't know how the farming would be after this. The whole Umbral Engram part is actually a pretty nice way to farm for weapons. They're most likely gonna bring something like that back, so you could kind of farm there. But yeah, just test the weapons first, come to a gunsmith, see what perks you can get, and hopefully find what you're looking for. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you kind of learned something. Gotta try this new way out of finding a guard roll for yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.